Hey Tersse, a month ago you gave me a challenge, if I can call it that, to, step back for a moment and stop looking at all the ideas that I've been exposed to in life, all those crazy abstract ideas, whether they be dogmatic or theoretical, and just stand back from all that and find out what I think about life, and how I perceive life, and how I interact with life, what my life experiences are. And I'll do my best to give you an answer. You gave me a month to answer, so I'll tell you what happened. I actually thought I was going to have fun with your challenge. I thought I was going to pretty much go out and make new friends, go to a bar, meet, a few ladies, get a girlfriend, whatnot. But I thought I'd do things that I don't normally do, just sit down and talk to people that I don't normally usually converse with, sit down and talk to people about sports, music, or whatever, and just try to talk to as many people as possible, and just experiment with life and see what I get, and just drop all the self-conscious bullshit and just do whatever it is I can do to make to maximize every situation as much as I can. But that's not what ended up happening. I ended up damaging one of my ankles while jogging. It was the ankle that I twisted earlier, so now I've been using these. So I've actually not been able to move around. I was only able to do the whole bar thing for a week. Then after that, it all went downhill from there. I ended up being entirely dependent on my friends and family to get around. And that was kind of frustrating to me, because I ended up being pretty much stuck in the house. I ended up being with my grandmother, and basically just being in the house with her, I would basically watch the Hallmark Channel, watch Walker, Texas Ranger, Touched by an Angel, terrible shows like that. Little House on the Prairie. These are shows Grandma likes, and I would just sit and, hang out with her. And she's a little senile, and she would ask me about 5 times a day, even today, what day it was. And at one point she even forgot that her husband died 20 years ago. So, this challenge to just live life it didn't go where I thought it would go. See, I was thinking of life as something I could mine for all these wonderful experiences. The words exploration and experimentation come to mind. But then I realized something. Life as we know it isn't that simple. It's not just the good things that happen to us or the things that we learn from. It's also the obstacles that are put in our way. A little bit of suffering, too. Just kind of reminded by that, because I was in a lot of pain for a while. It turned out that my ankle actually became infected, too. And I got into this kind of complaining mode because I thought all these, things that I wanted to do were ruined by me being on crutches. And, just ended up hanging out with my grandmother, which as a 25-year-old, you're kind of thinking, why am I as a 25-year-old telling an old lady what day it is every day? And then I'm realizing about, how life isn't just about family and friends. It's about being there for them even when it's not fun. And, when I was thinking about getting laid and about doing all these great and wonderful things, I really should have been thinking about, when I get back home, I probably should try, see what I can do to make Grandma happy. See what I can do to make my aunt happy, see what I can do to make my friends happy. But no, it was all, when you said, live life, when I thought of life, I automatically said, explore. And that was my original intent. But it ended up not working out that way. And, see, there's all about life that, isn't fun, as you well know, Tersse. I mean, you're old enough, and I can imagine that you've had your share of bad experiences. Like, for instance, I can tell you that my mother died at a young age, when I was 16. And that wasn't fun. But that's life. People want to attach all these romantic things to life and say, oh, life is the, exploration and these wonderful experiences. No, it's the good and the bad. It's the sweet and the sour, as one of my favorite movies puts it. But you just look around at different cultural perceptions of what a good life is, and the different standards of living, and you see that there are different standards of life. And here, like in the West, we'd say, someone who's had a good life is someone who's had a good career, or someone who reached out to everybody, somebody who everybody would listen to everybody and listen to all your problems, somebody who could make you laugh, a guy's guy or whatever, or a woman that is warm, outspoken, strong, But we don't really usually think of a good life as, for instance, a woman living out in Africa who finds out that her son or daughter has a disease that she can't cure and watches her child slowly die. In a way, you could say that this is a good woman who, while she hasn't had maybe a good life, she has at least led an admirable one. So this time of reflection has made me look at life not very romantically. I mean, granted, I'm just on crutches, and I went to a dance, but couldn't dance. It's not that big of a deal, but it just reminds me that life doesn't always go the way you think. I thought I was going to do all these cool, awesome things. Now I'm on crutches. That doesn't necessarily mean that crutches keep you from getting laid, but it definitely makes it more difficult. You're less spontaneous, especially if you're infected and you're going through a lot of pain, which is actually starting to go away now. Life can oftentimes, as I said before, be about the obstacles. It can mean sacrifice. It can mean pain. But those are not the things that those are the things, rather, that give it dimension. Those are the things that give dimension. A lot of people look at life for pleasure, and I just don't think that's what life is about. I think, because we look for so much pleasure in life, I think that's the same reason why we abuse our planet so much, is because it's much more fun. It's much more fun to throw shit into the lakes than it is to actually pick it up and clean it up and go through that painful, tedious process. It's much more fun to make millions off of being reckless than it is to lose millions being responsible. But unfortunately, those are the things that in the end are going to make life worthwhile, and I think that's also why people have such a hard time maintaining relationships now. They like to be in the early stages of passion, but don't want to make a mature commitment to a person that they learn they don't completely like. But I think that's necessary. I think this thing called committing and responsibility is important. And I think the sobering reality of life is the one that we're going to have to embrace more and more, especially in this century. So you wanted me to get down to earth and talk just about my life. And I'll tell you, point blank, this is what happened. I fucked up my ankle. I ended up watching Hallmark all day, every day with my grandmother. And I went out a few times with my friends, but basically unable to do anything. Couldn't even have beer because of the meds I'm on. So that's what happened. That's the experience that I had. So looking at that's going to give me a different conclusion than if after a month I had been going around meeting ladies and talking to people. But that's just not the way it happened. So I told you what happened in my life, and then I gave you a larger way to apply it. Say, what does it mean when I look for life in all these ways and end up getting my ankle fucked up instead and end up being under house arrest instead? I think that's basically life telling me, hey, sorry, life isn't always the best of what you want it to be. Sometimes it is the suffering, sometimes it is the obstacles. Sometimes it's not all that fun.